Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for clicking on the video. This is David Pendleton and I hope you're enjoying your week off of Golf Clash tournaments. But with that being said, we just had the breaking news that we know we're heading into a tournament next week, which is going to feature a full 9 holes of the Nordic Forts. So what I'm doing for you today is putting together a preliminary walkthrough for Rookie Division. What you're going to get out of this video is just a recap of all 9 holes, how to approach them, what type of balls we might need, what type of overpower to use on a couple wind angles. So on some of these holes, I'll show you multiple wind angles. I'll show you how the approach changes. But as always, next week, I'll be making my full tournament walkthroughs for every single round, every single hole, front 9 and back 9. Because remember that sometimes with different wind angles, we do change the elevation to manipulate the way we want the ball to react going towards the hole. So this is just going to be a refresher, but it's always nice to take a look at and kind of come up with a general strategy of what we're going to be heading into next week. Let's go to hole number 1. All right, here we go. Hole number 1, we're going to go ahead and play this one 10% at max. Now, the thing that I like about hole number 1 here is we do have the ability to drive to the green, or at least give us a short chip in to start off with an eagle. So if you're low on berserkers, if you're low on kingmakers, this is a great opportunity to head into the golden shot this week. I'm going to post my golden shot videos tomorrow as I'm picking up multiple hole-in-ones, but it's a great opportunity to head into that golden shot and pick yourself up some kingmakers and some berserkers. So let's go. Here we're getting, essentially a dead crosswind angle from left to right. So we're going to make this shot easier, and we're going to go with the Kingmaker. Just for, obviously the power. We could do this with the Kingmaker, we could do this with the Titan, but we're going to utilize that side spin to the right and a little bit of top spin. So keep in mind here, we're not using full top spin, so if you have an extra mile 6, 7, you'll be able to accomplish this shot as well. You'll need to go with some more overpower, of course, or you could go to a power 4 or a power 5 ball. But either way we slice it, here we're going about half a ball of overpower, and we're going with about 3/4 of a ball of curl to the right. We do hit a perfect shot, which is always nice, and you'll see this ball comes in very nicely, leaving us for a very, very small shot here to pick up that eagle on hole number 1. Now we take a look at it. Here we're going to get a headwind angle. Okay, you see the headwind is going from left to right. And what we're going to do is pull out a berserker. Again, make this shot a little bit easier. But again, we're going to go with the exact same approach. Here, we're going to go with, about 5 bars of top spin, 2 bars of right side spin. So again, lower level extra miles, you can use a berserker here as well. And the nice part is you can go full top combined with full right. You see here, I'm doing about the same type of shot, maybe a little bit less overpower on this shot since we are doing a power 5 ball. But again, this is going to be more of that headwind angle. So, if we do get fortunate and we get tailwind, we're going to have an even easier approach on hole number 1. That'll take us to hole number 2. Hole number 2 is one of those holes in which we really do mess around with the elevation on quite a bit. Here on this one, we're going to get a perfect crosswind angle, so we're going to play at 15% at mid. All right, so the biggest thing about this one is, we do kind of experience a glitch on the green here. So this green is very glitchy, which is nice, which is why it's always nice to wait till tournament week so that we can provide you with, the exact landing spots that we need to do. We always try to use like reference points on this hole too. So like right here, I have a little bit of separation between the white ring and the fringe. You see the speed comes in very nicely here, and we just missed this one to the right-hand side. So what I like about this is having a saved replay in this wind angle. If we get hit with it again, at some point of the stage in the next tournament, I'm going to at least have some type of reference point to get that one dialed in. But very, very close there on hole number 2. That'll take us here to hole number 3. Hole number 3 is going to be our first par 5. And here, we always try to play on this third fairway to the left. We can use a Kingmaker here. We can use a Titan in this wind angle. The biggest thing that we want to do is probably utilize our right side spin and then a little bit of top spin keeping us for a nice, shot towards the pin for shot number 2. But you'll see here, we're taking that right side spin, only 2 bars. So again, this shot would be no problem with a ball like a Titan. We could probably even get it there with the Katana with a little bit of overpower. But on the par 5s, we do tend to use our power 3 balls more times than not. But here we get a perfect ball, and you'll see this one does land on the fairway very nicely. This is really a good spot to land on as it puts us in a good position for shot number 2. Shot number 2, we end up playing 20% at max. And we do like whenever we get that yardage on the drive, because it does leave us here with a good chance to drop an albatross. And we do get a very nice line towards the pin as well. We get a good consistent ball guide line. It's a lot better than trying to play this one over the sand, like the bounce over shot that sometimes we get stuck with if we don't hit the right drive. But again, we're pulling this one typically on shot number 2 at 20%, but that's going to really depend on the wind angle. Here we're getting I think we got a perfect crosswind from left to right, and we get very, very close to dropping that shot in for the albatross. That takes us into our next replay. So same hole here, but again, as you're going to see, this is more of a tailwind angle. So it is a lot easier to go ahead and utilize that Titan in perfect tailwind, since we don't want to knock the wind down by using a Kingmaker. But as you can see here, we may need to use a little bit of backspin on this approach. What we don't want to do on hole number 3 is we don't want to catch it where the fairway rolls from right to left and takes us down into the rough. Especially in rookie division. Here, we do hit a perfect ball, and you'll see that by utilizing that backspin on this hole, we stop before we experience that roll. But you do see the ball starts to take off and roll down to the left-hand side. That'll take us into shot number 2. Now this one, you'll notice a difference. We play 10% at max, and we are playing over the sand. So with a bounce over the sand. Now this is a good wind angle to approach this shot on. And it's always nice on these long par 5s whenever we can use backspin. That gives us the best ball control. In my opinion, it gives us the best chance to drop these albatrosses. Another perfect ball. Let's hope we get that lucky next week during the tournament. You can see their speed is pretty good, but it does give us a reference point to know what we need to do to change our elevation or tweak our spins there on hole number 3. Takes us into hole number 4. Hole number 4 is a par 3. Again, we play this one multiple different ways in rookie. This one we're going to be playing 10% on the elevation. Looks like at minimum distance of our club, and we're going for that rough bump. This is an inconsistent rough bump though, so it'll take some practice tokens for me to figure out exactly how we want to play this in every round next week. But the rough bump is pretty nice here. It's just the way the ball comes off the rough and bounces that sometimes makes it inconsistent, especially if we don't pull the exact right elevation. But you can see here, this one nicely rolls in for the hole-in-one on hole number 4. That takes us to hole number 5. Hole number 5 is probably the trickiest drive of all the par 5s in this course, as we do have to go over the sand. Now you're going to see here on a nice little tailwind with some crosswind, we're able to utilize that Titan ball. And the thing that you don't want to do on this one is you don't want to roll too far on the second fairway here. Well, I should say the first fairway, but over the sand. You don't want to roll too far into the rough, because when that happens, you normally cannot get to the green in 2 unless you're using like a power 4 or power 5 ball. But more than likely on this hole, we're not going to be using that type of ball. We're going to take this type of shot in which we land on the fairway, and that takes us in the shot number 2. Shot number 2 is typically a tough one to drop an albatross on. We have a very long distance from our initial landing spot to the pin, which is the same for shot number 2 on hole number 3, which is the first par 5. So we have to account for a lot of different things when we're this far away from the pin, from our target zone, which is going to be secondary wind push. So it'll be really important that we take a look at landing positions. But all in all, we're showing you very easy ways to pick up eagles on some of these tougher par 5s. And I do believe that Nordic Fords has some of the tougher par 5s in the game. So here we go with, this one's going to be a headwind angle. So the headwind is blowing from right to left. But still, just go ahead and using a Titan ball here. Obviously, a Kingmaker would make this shot easier. But 2.4 mile per hour wind, I mean, that's so simple. We could use a wide variety of balls here and still be able to pick up the eagle on this hole. But the key to this hole is always executing the drive. This is one of those drives that we cannot mess up, because if we do mess it up, it typically more times than not leads to a birdie on a par 5, which we know is going to wreak havoc on our scorecards. So here, again, we land on the fairway very nicely. We play shot number 2 again, 10% at mid. We have to be careful on this hole. The green does roll fast at times. So, when we're using topspin, again, from this distance, just makes it, a little bit hard to read. But here we're putting our ball guideline through the pin as we are getting headwind. So keep that in mind, that in headwind, especially from this type of distance, that we do want to make sure that our ball guideline goes through the pin. And again, like watching a real walkthrough that I'll do next week will let us know how far we need to put it through. And then, more than likely, I'm probably going to eagle these holes. But that's where it's going to come down to us talking about the small tweaks that we need to make in order to get these balls in. You see here, this one comes in a little bit fast. So we could have taken a little bit of topspin off that shot and then see if we can get it dialed in from there. All right, here we go. Hole number 6. Hole number 6, again, is going to be one of those par 4s in which we have the ability to give ourselves a very short shot to pin, especially in a tailwind situation. That's why I stress to always go in there to that golden shot and save as many berserkers as you can. This week gives us a very good chance for a hole-in-one on the golden shot. So again, I'll post my golden shot videos tomorrow just to try to help, get people's bags full of those Power 5 free-to-play balls. But here you see we're making our adjustment, and then we're pushing back up to max to make sure we get as much distance on this drive as possible. We do go with quite a bit of OP. We do hit a perfect ball. And you'll see this one comes in very nicely. I mean, this is what we hope to get, moving into the tournament next week. Getting these nice little short chip-in shots. Now, the thing with this shot, though, is when you get to this side of the fairway, it does leave us with a very wonky ball guideline to pin. So, normally with the Endbringer, we like to go full top spin. But in this case, we're going to have to utilize backspin and side spin to the left. This is kind of similar to some of the approaches that we had in last week's tournament on hole number 7 last week, where we were able to get a similar type of drive, but we do get a very weird ball guideline. So here you see we drop this one in. Perfect shot. It just gives you an idea of how to approach hole number 6. This will take us into hole number 7, which is another par 3. Here we're going to play this one 10% at mid, and sometimes depending on wind angle, we come from the left side. Sometimes we come from the right side, or sometimes we can even go for a very dangerous rough bump. But here, I'm playing this one very safe, as you can see. And, we'll do more work on these next week. We'll use some practice tokens. We'll try to get this one figured out for you. But here, obviously, a great shot to the left. Doesn't do us much good as we come into the left. But we can see there the set spins were pretty good. The speed was pretty good. Obviously, we need to hit perfect in order to give ourselves the best chance. But that gives us just one look there at hole number 7. And that takes us into hole number 8. Again, I stress this course is a love and hate relationship, right? Because we get so many opportunities to drive the green, but it also takes up a lot of our good balls to do so. And then obviously in a tournament, we save these berserkers, we save our good balls so that we can give ourselves the best possible score. But hole number 8 is, again, it's another par 4 in which we should be able to easily pick up an eagle on as long as we execute our drive. But you see here, by using this berserker, we had to utilize very little overpower. So the thing about it is we could go with a different ball. We could have easily gone with a Titan ball here, a power 3, and done the same type of shot. but clearly using a berserker gives us a big advantage, and we're able to get right next to the pin. Now, we take a look at this replay here. This is going to be hole number 8, of course, again. We're getting a little bit of headwind. Here, we will see what we're able to do in a headwind situation. It's headwind mixed with crosswind, but it just goes to show that we can use a kingmaker in these situations and still execute the drive. Now, clearly, a berserker would be the preferable ball. We would definitely want to use a berserker in headwind, which is probably something that I will do next week if we get a headwind angle. But you're going to see here, we're going with max OP, a little bit of curl to the left. In these situations, obviously, we have to hit perfect. We don't want to bomb this drive into the water. But you're going to see here, very nice shot, very nice roll. And we even pick up a crazy little hole-in-one on a par 4. Boy, wouldn't that be nice to get in the final round of a tournament? A little bit of luck like that, getting us into the hole. That brings us into the last hole. This is going to be hole number... Oh, nope, sorry, I got one more replay of hole number 8. So again, this is going to be one of those angles in which we can take advantage of. And last time in this tailwind, I used a berserker. I guess this just must go to show that we can also use a kingmaker ball or a titan. But here, this is full OP. This shot, you know, a little bit tougher to execute. But we do get it nicely onto the fringe here as well for a chip-in shot. So hole number 8, can't stress enough how good of an opportunity this one is to pick up an eagle on the par 4. All right, now we go to hole number 9. I don't know why some of these replays are so small. The hole number 9 here, we're getting direct headwind. We are using a Titan ball. Of course, the preferable ball here would be to use a kingmaker and to reduce the wind, get it down into the 3s. Especially having to use, you know, this much OP. Again, this is going to be a long par 5, and it's going to be a situation to where we might have to use a lot of overpower unless you do resort to using power 4 or power 5 balls. And the reason that it could be dangerous drive is because you could end up on the rough on the left or right hand side. You'll see here that we do bring a powerful club. We are going to be playing with our most powerful wood club. For most of us in rookie, it's going to be a big dog or a cataclysm, just depending on your club selection and what you have available to you. But here, you see for me, it's a big dog, back-to-back headwind. We're going to have to go with back-to-back overpower by using this ball. But we get a nice bounce here. And this is a situation that in headwind, we're going to take this type of shot all day, every day, and then finish up our round or move to the back 9 feeling good about it. And then right here is another headwind angle, but this time we have the worst possible wind angle on this hole. This is headwind blowing from right to left. The reason it's the worst situation is because it's moving opposite of the way that the hole is. The hole's on the right-hand side. This wind is pushing us to the left. But here, same type of drive. We have our overpower. We hit a perfect ball. And we land nicely on the fairway. Brings us in for shot number 2. Shot number 2 again, you know, because we know that we're going to be getting that headwind angle, we're definitely bringing our most powerful club that we have. Same type of shot here, a little bit of top spin combined with a little bit of side spin to the right. And all we're hoping for is the same result, you know, that result being our ball being on the green, leaving us a putt in for, you know, what I said again, in my opinion, is the most challenging par 5 on Nordic Forwards. But hey, that's it. That's a preliminary, you know, look at next week's tournament. I can't wait for it to get here, and I look forward to making the content for you all to try to get us dialed in for big, big scores. Best of luck, everybody.